Hey designers! In this video, we're going to create this amazing intro with text in the background using After Effects. Let's get started by creating a new composition. Select the Rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on the screen. Make sure there's no fill selected and that the stroke is active with a high stroke width. To center the anchor point, hold down Ctrl and double-click the Pan Behind Anchor Point tool. Align the shape both vertically and horizontally in the composition. Now open the Rectangle 1 settings, go into Rectangle Path 1, and increase the roundness to make the corners smoother. Also, click the link icon next to the Size option to unlink the width and height, so you can adjust them separately. Click on the stopwatch next to the Size property to add a keyframe, then decrease the height of the shape. Move the playhead a few frames forward and increase both the height and width of the shape to create the animation. Next, go to the Effects and Presets panel, search for 4-Color Gradient, and apply it to the shape layer. Change Color 1 to black, Color 2 to white, Color 3 to gray or white, and Color 4 to black, or feel free to use any colors you like. Once the colors are set, adjust the position of each point to make sure the gradient fits nicely within the shape. Perfect. Now, to add expressions to these points and create smooth animation, hold down Alt and click on the stopwatch next to point 1. In the expression box that appears, type wiggle open, parenthesis 0.3, comma 120, close parenthesis. The first value controls the frequency of the movement, and the second value controls the amount of movement. Next, do the same for point 2. You can adjust these values slightly depending on the effect you want. Now repeat the same process for the remaining points. For point 3, open parenthesis 0.4, comma 100 close parenthesis. Once you've added the expressions, click anywhere on the canvas to exit expression editing mode. You'll now notice a smooth, subtle movement happening in the colors, giving a nice dynamic feel to the background. You can close all the opened properties to keep your workspace clean. If needed, you can also adjust the position of the gradient points to get a different look. Next, let's duplicate the shape layer by selecting it and pressing Ctrl+D on the keyboard. With the duplicated layer selected, press U to reveal the keyframes. In this new layer, select the first keyframe and delete it. Now move the second keyframe to the very first frame of this duplicated layer and offset the entire layer a few frames forward on the timeline. Then move the playhead 5 frames forward. Use the shortcut Ctrl plus right arrow key 5 times, and increase both the height and the width of the shape to create a different stage in the animation. Once it blends nicely with the original shape layer, go ahead and duplicate this new shape layer again by pressing Ctrl+D. Press U to reveal the keyframes of the newly duplicated layer. Delete the first keyframe, then move the second keyframe to the position of the first one. Offset this layer a few frames forward in the timeline. Now move the playhead 5 frames forward and increase both the height and width of the shape. Once you're happy with the result, duplicate this layer again by pressing Ctrl+D on the keyboard. Press U to see the keyframes. Offset this layer a few frames forward as well. Delete the first keyframe and move the second one to its place. Move the bar indicator 5 frames forward and increase the height and width of this shape layer. Preview the animation to see how it looks so far. Perfect. Now let's add an opacity animation to Shape Layer 1. Select Shape Layer 1 and press T to bring up the opacity property. Click on the stopwatch next to opacity to add a keyframe. Then press U to reveal all keyframes. Move the playhead a few frames forward, 2 or 3 frames, and add a new blank keyframe by clicking the diamond icon. Now move the playhead back to the first frame and set the opacity to 0. Once you're satisfied, close all the properties again to keep your workspace tidy. Now select the text tool and type your desired text onto the screen. Adjust the font of your text to match the style you want and customize its size, weight, or spacing as needed. Then, to center the anchor point of the text layer, select the text layer and double-click the Pan Behind Anchor Point tool. This will automatically move the anchor point to the center of the text. Use the alignment tools to align the text both horizontally and vertically within the composition. Go to the text layer's properties, click on Animate, and choose Position. Then click Add, go to Property, and select Opacity. Next, go to the Selector ribbon options and open the Advanced section to give yourself more space to work. Increase the position value to around 300. Move the playhead to the start of the timeline. Then animate the offset by clicking the stopwatch next to it and set the offset value to -100. Now change the opacity to 0. Move the playhead a few frames forward and set the offset value to 100 to complete the animation. Preview the animation to see how it looks. To refine it, change Based on from characters to words, switch the shape from skewer to ramp up, and set the ease high value to -100. Preview it again, then change the ease low value to 100 for a smoother and more dynamic text reveal. Great! Close all the properties to tidy up your workspace. Now select all the shape layers and move 1 to 2 frames forward on the timeline so the animation starts from nothing and flows smoothly. Perfect! That already looks like a really cool animation. If you want to add a bit more polish, let's apply one more effect. Go to Layer, then New, and select Adjustment Layer. Move this adjustment layer just below the text layer in the timeline. Search for Radial Blur, and apply it to the adjustment layer. Adjust the blur amount to your liking, depending on whether you want a strong or subtle effect. Finally, preview the animation to see the overall look with the blur effect added. Now that the cool animation is ready, if you want to add something extra, create a new null layer, select all the other layers and parent them to this null layer by using the pick whip or the parent dropdown. Press S to bring up the scale property, and click the stopwatch to add a keyframe. Move the playhead a few frames forward, then increase the scale value to create a zoom-in effect. Select both keyframes and press F9 to apply Easy Ease for a smooth animation. Preview your animation to see the result. Remember, once your basic animation is set, you can add many more effects or creative touches to make it unique. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Ace Designs.